And we are back.
We are back, bumble bitches.
Gonna do some Q&A today. But we want to have some conversation pieces before we jump into shit. As always, the new mascot, Ivy, is in the chair. We need to get a dog cam for her.
Yeah.
Although I'm very shocked that you let her off her place to get up on the chair with you.
Why wouldn't I? She was looking. She saw me put the footrest up.
She just knew.
Yeah. She didn't stand up or anything. She was very patient.
Are you saying that you and your dog have a telepathic bond now where she knows what to expect?
Maybe. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's funny.
Because she's a good girl. Yeah. Yes, you are.
Bandit Gaming said that we came up in a topic of conversation last night with him and one of his friends.
Oh, how did that go?
I'm very curious to see. I didn't see a response from him. Take the mouse and see if there's a response. There was not a response. So this morning you made a TikTok.
I did.
Sorry guys, if you see me wincing and shifting, I'm doing my best. It's been a long 3 weeks. So you made a TikTok this morning.
I did.
And I would like you to reiterate that entire TikTok.
Okay. I'll try my best too.
And then I want to have a conversation about it.
So this morning, it came to my attention that the children had access to YouTube on their tablets, which is something they are not supposed to have access to. And tablets are a very restricted item. They only get to use that in car time if they have earned it. Behavior is reflective of rewards. So
you're saying that your kids just shouldn't get whatever the fuck they want whenever they want it because they want it?
Correct.
That's wild.
Yes.
Crazy. What a concept.
And tablets, for my goal, is for it to be educational games. They have access to like kid-friendly documentaries and whatnot. I have restricted Netflix. I've restricted Disney. So if they want to just relax and watch a movie on the way to school, they can do that. And this morning it came to my attention that I updated the kids' software, and I guess it changed some settings. So I have to go back in there and just reset some things. And I took the children's tablets, and our daughter was like, okay, I understand, but our son was not. He was like, I don't understand. I didn't do anything wrong. Why can't I have my tablet? And I was like, son, I understand you're upset. The reason I do not want you to have your tablet right now is because there are adults on YouTube who do the wrong things. You haven't done anything wrong. It's my job as your mom to protect you from the things that the adults do wrong. And I was like, do you understand that, son? He was like, yeah, I understand. But he was still whining because he wanted the tablet. And the whole way to school, we're talking about how you choose your day. And I was like, son, what kind of day are you going to choose today? He was like, a bad one. And I was like, why a bad one? He's like, because I'm upset. I want my tablet. I was like, homie, it's at the house. We're 5 minutes away. That's not happening. So you being upset right now is not going to change you not getting your tablet. And we had another conversation because he started getting a little nasty. And I looked at him and I was like, you better not treat your teacher or your peers with aggression or negativity because you're upset over your tablet right now. He started getting huffy and I was like, son, you are allowed to be upset. What you are not allowed to be is mean to people because you're upset over something. And the conversation was continuing and I was trying to calm him down. And I was trying to be goofy and I was like tickling his feet and trying to get at his knees. And he just was, I want my tablet. And I said something to him. And as I was speaking, he was whining over me. I want my tablet. And I was like, son, you better stop. I was like, this is me asking you calmly, please. And his pitch increased, like a volume control, and it went higher, and like it just hit my ear wrong, and I smacked the center console, like bap, and it startled him.
That's dad voice, but with your hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I can't hit a dad voice with my throat. So smacked the center console, it startled him, and I was like, what can I do right now to make you happy, boy? And he was like, what? And I was like, what can I do right now to make you smile, to make you feel good? Because like nothing about what you're doing right now is going to change the situation, and you're choosing a bad day. And I was like, no son of mine is going to walk into a place that is a shared social circle and be mean because you didn't get your way. Not happening. And he was like, well, I don't know. And we were on the street to get into the parent pickup line. And when the parent pickup line is happening, there's like side residential streets that don't get used because the line wraps around the whole block. And I pulled off onto that little side residential street in front of the stop sign. So I was out of traffic's way, but I was definitely blocking that residential street. And I got out of the car and I went to go open the side door and it was locked. And I was like, oh. So like I made a big scene about going to unlock the door, and I opened my door to unlock it and I was like, silly goose, just to make them laugh. And he's not laughing. I get out and I'm explaining all of this because all of this, I was very frustrated this morning. I was overstimulated, overwhelmed. The sun is too fucking bright right now. I can hear Ivy breathing. Like, there's a lot. And I'm showing the little instances that a lot of people could perceive as inconveniences to the morning. Like, I just got out of the car to try and make my son feel better, and now I have to walk back around the car to unlock the door. And there's parents driving past me. We're already late on the way to school, and now I'm putting off more time. And then a dump truck pulls up as I'm unlocking the door, and I make eye contact with the guy, and I was like, and he was like, no. And I was like, and I ran back around the side of the car because I wanted to make sure I wasn't blocking his way to do his job. Right. And I whipped the door open, and I looked at our son, and I was like, what's going to make you happy right now? And he was like, can I have a hug? And I was like, you want a hug, buddy? And he was like, yeah. And I gave him a hug, and he just started crying. He was like, I'm so upset. And I was like, I understand that you're upset, kid. This sucks. And I was like, the whole ride here, you've been upset and not feeling good. And I was like, now how do you feel about all of this? And he was like, I still don't feel good. I was like, can we try something to make us happy? And he was like, yeah, I'll try. And like my hand became a spider. I play this game with the kids while I'm driving. When they start acting up, I like to distract them. And then we have a conversation about why their behavior was not okay. And the spider hit the back headrest, and he started giggling. And then the spider jumped onto his knee, and it climbed a little bit, and then he laughed, and it jumped on his face, and then he started doing that, like he still has that little baby laugh sometimes. I'm gonna start crying. And I pulled my hand away, and he was giggling, and I started tickling his sides, and I stopped. I was like, do we feel better? And he was like, Mommy, thank you, I feel better. And I was like, we're gonna have a good day at school. You're gonna come home. We're gonna have a good day at home. We're gonna cook dinner. We're going to do shower time. We're going to do bedtime reading. And then you're going to go to sleep, and it's going to be a good day tomorrow. I didn't get anything like that in my childhood. And, you know, some things that I've thought of after the fact was a couple of teachers commented on that TikTok, and they said, thank you for not sending a dysregulated child into the classroom.
Right.
She's like, it's most of them were women. I say a lot of them. There were like 2 or 3. And they said that it's very hard to regulate one child. And when one child comes into the classroom is upset and throwing fits and getting away with things, then they follow suit.
Mm-hmm. It's trickle-down effect.
Right. And they're all 6-year-olds. Like, there's not going to be a single one here going, oh, what? They're throwing fits over there and getting what they want.
I'm going to do the same thing.
Right. They're not going to be like, I'm going to sit here quiet and do what the teacher says and not have fun. So,
couple things. One, I saw somebody in the chat say they're afraid for my safety because there was a spider on my chair. So what? Unless it was like a giant bird eater Goliath tarantula and it's going to crawl in my ear and eat my brain, I don't give a shit. It's a spider. They eat mosquitoes. They eat other bugs. We live in Florida. Spiders are my friend. Unless it's a brown recluse and like I'm fucking with it, we're safe, guys. The little itty bitty teeny tiny spider that might or might not be on my chair is not going to harm my big ass. And if it does, I have insurance. So I don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the importance of what happened this morning, because we would have handled that very differently. Right. So the first thing I want to point out is he did have access to YouTube and he chose not to utilize it.
Right.
So he made a choice knowing that if he got caught on YouTube, he would get in a lot of trouble. And at 6 years old, he ascertained like, Mom, Pops, Dad doesn't want us on this thing.
Right.
I'm not going to utilize that app. Right.
Yeah.
So he already is understanding right and wrong. and he's choosing to make good decisions, which is fucking huge. You got to remind me when we get off of here to order those SD cards for those little handheld games I bought.
Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to point out is my fixate. This is why you need two parents in the house, right?
All right.
I'm gonna preface with that because you had the nurturing, emotional shit under control, and I would have had the dysregulated outward behavioral shit under control. And if we would have been together in the car when that happened, you would have handled the emotional side. And then after the conversation, I would have had the conversation about how you don't repeat, whine, throw tantrums because men don't behave that way. Right. And we would have had a very different discussion from my standpoint than from yours. And he would have gotten two perspectives that would have helped shape who he's going to be as he grows older.
Right. And all of it without being punished.
Without being punished. Right. And when he comes home tonight, if I'm still awake, because I full on plan on taking a muscle relaxer when we're done with this. I'm suffering through the podcast today, and then I'm going to try to get rid of this nerve damage. I want to have a conversation with him about what he did. And I want to hit him in the beginning with it like, hey, I know you had access to YouTube. You made a decision not to do it.
Right.
And I'm fucking proud of you for that because you could have absolutely been sneaky.
Right.
And you might not have gotten caught. But you didn't even try. And I respect that. I'm proud of you for not doing that. On the other side of things, when you were in the car with your mom and you were screaming, I want my tablet, men don't behave that way. What you should have done is gotten silent and told your mom that you do not enjoy what's happening right now. And you're missing the fact that you don't get to use your tablet in the car because this is your routine, son.
Right.
And I understand how you are about your routine because I'm the same way about a routine. I need that to thrive. So you could have expressed the displeasure in a different way. And I'm proud of you for not crying because you would have normally cried over this. Instead, you found a different outlet. And good for you for finding a different outlet, but let's find a better way to... And we would have had it, would have been the conversation. So I'm going to have that conversation with him tonight when he gets home from school so that he's aware that like we are recognizing that there is changed behavior because normally he would just melt down. So he's getting better in those things as well. And I think it's important to have both perspectives. For those of you who don't know, with our son, he is very much I want to be the man's man when he grows older.
Yes. Very much wants to uphold the standard of polite and integrity and manners. And
His playtime is we're hunting mammoths. I'm going to bring food home and provide. Like that is, and I don't know if he's getting that from hearing us have conversations or if he sees it because of the way that I try to lead our house. I don't know. But I love it either way. So I don't give a shit really where he's getting it from. I'm glad that he has it and that's enough for me. But I wanted to touch on all of that because I was super proud of him for not actually using YouTube because he could have.
right.
And the other thing was that you did not send an emotionally unregulated child into school because had you done that, it would have, you told him that you get to choose the day you're going to have.
Down.
She's like, I am down. What do you want?
Your head down. There we go.
He was able to make a decision in that moment and he ended up having a good day. And you not sending, you know how easy it would be for a parent to be having a frustrated morning with the kid, be like, I can't wait till I get the fuck out of my car.
Right. Get
That's
out. Go to
somebody
school.
else's problem for the rest of the day. And then they come home and the kid's had a bad day at school and they're gonna have a bad evening. Like the whole thing is fucked up.
Yeah.
So, oh fuck. I tried to like stretch. That did not.
Yeah. It was also important for him to understand that he didn't do anything wrong and this wasn't a consequence because of his actions.
Right.
Because I stress to him often, a lot of things that happen in life is the consequences of your actions. So him verbalizing, I don't understand, I didn't do anything wrong, was him saying, I'm confused because you've told me this prior without saying, this is what you've told me prior. Yep.
Yeah. This is also a good opportunity for him to learn that sometimes life happens. It doesn't mean that it's happening to you.
Yeah.
Shit just happens. And you have no choice but to accept it. Like, the shit's on the tablet right now. We didn't catch it until we were getting ready to walk out the door. So now we got to fix it while you're at school.
Yeah,
and
I
when you come
didn't
home
catch it until Sissy told on herself.
Right.
Knowing she's doing something she ain't supposed to be doing.
Right. But now we have the opportunity to fix it.
Yes,
right?
we do.
So, I have to look at my notes. Okay. We're gonna run through a couple things, guys, and then we'll do a Q&A with you guys. What
Are you asking me a question? Do I need to prepare to answer something?
Yeah, you do, but I need to think about how I want to ask it. Is there anything you want to talk about while I gather my thoughts? Actually, we can bullshit for a second. I have a couple things I want to talk about that's not relevant to anything.
Okay.
How do you feel about us buying a Wacom tablet, like a big Wacom?
For what?
For the photography.
Like editing photos?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on board with that.
Because I have that old ass 27-inch. Mm-hmm. I have an older one in the closet. But I want a big one. I want like a big fucking giant screen to edit on.
Don't fuck our finances. I trust you, babe.
I want to start doing more pictures. Mm-hmm. And I know that you got a little taste of modeling when we were in Vegas.
I want to do more of it.
Okay.
I want to do more modeling.
Okay. Well, I want to actually go do more photography stuff. So we need to like set some time aside to try to find some locations. Mm-hmm. If anybody out there is in Florida or Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, anywhere in the surrounding areas that you know of abandoned locations that we could get access to, send us an email. Just tobebetterco@gmail.com and just put abandoned in the title so that the screeners can get it to me. And then I'll respond to you from my own email and we can try to schedule times to meet up with you guys so that you can show us some abandoned locations. Because they destroyed that abandoned prison in Florida. It's laid waste to. You can't
demolished.
Yeah. So, and I know like the domes that are out in Cape Coral are wrecked from Hurricane Ian. So like there's a lot of things that I am aware of in Florida that are no longer standing, but I would like to utilize some abandoned locations, maybe some dingy alleyways, bridges, whatever. So that would be really cool if you guys could get that to us. That would be amazing. I also think that I want to buy that camera before we go to Thailand.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm going to actually pull the trigger on it because of the cost, but I really do think that I want to upgrade before we go because and we also have to figure out Costa Rica. I need to email Brandon back today, so don't let me forget that either.
Okay.
We're in Florida, guys. So if it's Georgia, anywhere that's within an 8-hour drive, if I can get to, because I can get to Tennessee in 8 to 10 hours. So if we can get there in a day's drive, stay the night, do the photo stuff for a day, stay the night and drive home, that's ideal for me. I also think that we should hit Big Taliban Island and Jekyll Island for the deadwood tree thing. But that's a whole lot of bug spray.
Right.
A whole lot of bug spray.
Oh, yeah.
They'll eat your ass alive out there. So anyways, so to what I was going to, did you have anything before I attempted to have this conversation with you?
You move very quickly.
So no?
No.
Anything Peach's brain that's not relevant to me at all that you want to discuss? Garden, crocheting, dogs, video games, fucking hairstyles, makeup tutorials, gardening,
no,
cooking, Dungeons and Dragons, new car. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at you to see if there's anything that might jog a memory. I don't know.
No. No, there were things that you touched on that I don't even remember what you said.
Okay.
And there were things that I wanted to say, but you just jumped from thing to thing to thing. It's like playing Frogger on crack.
Yeah. But there's no such thing as ADHD. We'll have all those conversations again because I want to redo that room. And if we get the Wacom tablet and we upgrade this computer, we'll have an extra tower that we can put the Wacom on, and that can be an editing station for us.
That'd be dope.
And in that way we can, I don't know how to make that work.
Okay.
I will make that work.
I want to start selling my photography.
It's hard. It's really fucking hard.
That's one thing I wanted to say. That the tablet thing triggered that. I want to sell my photography, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's impossible. I think
I don't think I want to make a living on it, but
I think that it's easier to sell the files than it is to sell the actual prints because people don't understand how expensive prints are.
I think selling the file.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to I'm not looking to charge $120 for a picture.
Well, it's cheap. That metal print that we have hanging in our living room of us, that one, the big version of it, was almost $1,000 because it's printed on metal.
But then they print it.
Right.
If I sell the file for $10.
Yep. That's exactly where my brain was.
$10 or $15, right?
Yeah. You can do that from your website. Is your
Right.
website live yet? Did you?
No, I stopped working on it because you were doing a bunch of things with the main website and you needed information for all of that.
Okay.
So I kind of just put that on a back burner.
So then that needs to get done too.
But I'm thinking about doing a cycle. So in the women's group, we currently have someone, she's working on creating a business for her own artwork. And she mentioned something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, this is not verbatim. She has hundreds of pieces of artwork that she would like to showcase and sell in these kinds of things. And she was worried about over inundating her audience. And my thought on that was, well, you could do like every single month. These are the 8 like hand selected for this month, and then do a cycle. And if you don't purchase in this month, you're gonna have to wait until next year when it's back in the cycle, or it's a repeated cycle every 3 months or whatever.
I think 8 is too many.
Yeah.
I read
4, maybe 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5. I think.
I think
my
4.
cap.
I like the evenness of it.
Odds do better psychologically.
Yeah. I like, really.
Yeah.
I like odds too.
If you took a photo of 4 windows,
yeah.
and in a photo of 3 windows, the photo of 3 windows or 5 windows would sell more than the photo of 4 windows.
Because the odd symmetry of it.
I
That
don't
makes
know.
sense.
It's real though.
Right.
I've actually sold photos like that. So
It's better looking than
Yeah.
the symmetry.
the other thing I wanted to touch on in that is that I was reading one of the books that I read within the last 5 books I read, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Talks about how people who have too many decisions will never be satisfied with their purchase. If you had a 3 Musketeer, a Score, and a Hershey bar, and you bought, those are say your 3 favorites, and you bought one, you're going to get back to the car and you're going to be like, maybe I should have bought that Score bar or, the other bar or whatever. But if you walk in and you only saw that one chocolate bar and you're like, I fucking love that chocolate bar, and you bought it, you're going to be happier with your purchase if you only had one option than if you had 3.
Okay.
And that's a psychological thing too. And I really wish, I could probably pull it up if I need to, but that's something to consider too. So too many options makes it very hard for people to pull the trigger on something.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. I think that's would be dope.
I'm going to do themed ones too. So like for the month of October, I'm going to do like 4 Halloween themed photos and sell the files. I think I'm going to launch the website for October.
Okay. What's that website?
Oh, I'm not going to announce that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get ahead on it.
But while we're on the topic of photography, I want to do a pumpkin head photo shoot.
Okay. Like an actual pumpkin?
Yeah, like I'm going to get the pumpkin, carve it out, put it on my head.
Can you imagine the smell of that?
I'm here for it. Let's go. But we're going to have to find some pretty cool places. I'll walk into downtown Sarasota with a pumpkin on my head and do photos. I don't care.
We could find a place, cemetery or something.
Yeah, whatever.
You do use your cloak.
Not the green one. I don't think that would.
You could use my black one.
We could do the black one.
Yeah. They're the same size.
It's a good idea. I want to go thrifting.
Somebody said, I wonder if that works with all things in life. I actually do believe that it works with all things in life in terms of the decisions that you make. And I believe that because as soon as somebody steps into another person's relationship and starts giving somebody a whole lot of like attention and options and things of that nature, you start looking at your person a little bit differently. And that same thought process happens. I think that's just human nature. We always want to have the right best.
Right.
And when there's other options, you don't longer maybe feel you've got the right best because there could potentially be the other right best.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw somebody ask where they could see our artwork or our photography. So my Instagram is Peaches DeVille. And the photographs that will be posted on Instagram will not be the ones that are for sale on the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Burkett Photography on Instagram. I rarely post to my Instagram.
Yeah. I like posting to my Instagram. My like macro shots don't get as much attention as selfies of me, but
Yeah.
I get more of a kick out of people enjoying my art than, me doing my makeup is also an art form.
I don't use it because I have 5 Instagrams that I have to keep hold of.
Yeah.
And I just don't fucking care. It's too much to have to deal with. And I stay logged into the To Be Better one because that's where all of our notifications come, and that's the important one. So I don't have like a want to post. I do, like I posted pictures from Tennessee, but I think I did a carousel and posted all of them in one shot so they don't have to roll them out every day.
Right.
Because I don't care about cultivating an audience there. I just want to showcase like, hey, I enjoy this. If you enjoy it, cool. If not, I enjoy this.
Right.
Right. So,
We can move on to the conversation pieces that you had.
okay. What are some things that, see, I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this and it not be I was going to ask you, what are some of the things that attract you to a man? But I guess the better question would be, when the first time you met me and you realized there was an attraction to me, what was it that made you attracted to me? This isn't going to lead into something, and your answer is probably not going to be the same as mine, but I am curious.
The first thing that made me attracted to you was my perspective shift.
Okay, that was not expected at all.
Yeah.
And now I need you to elaborate because I have no idea what you mean.
Because when I met you, you were an asshole.
Right.
So fuck this guy. He is not on my radar. I mean, even as a friend, you were married at the time. So I wasn't even going to attempt friendship. You were friends with the dude I was dating at the time, and then... So the perspective shift happened.
Okay. So what was the attraction?
The way you conduct yourself as a human being. The way you carry yourself when you walk into a room. The way that you process things. The way that you digest information and formulate your own opinion about it.
Okay. So out of those 2 out of 3, would you say the first 2 fall into confidence?
Yes.
Okay. See, this is where I'm going.
Okay.
Right. So I'm glad that your answer was, because I was going to say confidence. That's where I wanted the conversation to go.
Okay.
I'm glad.
Is that what attracted you to me?
Yes, actually it was.
Okay.
And this is a lot. And I'm going to try to get it all out there, but your confidence is a lack of giving a shit. If you want to have a good bumbly mood, you're going to have a good bumbly mood. You're not worried about what's going on in the world around you. You're living in the moment and you're living your life. And for somebody who has a darkness in them like I have, that light is huge for me. And to watch you go from group to group and do all the things that you've done in your life and just be authentically you is an air of confidence. I was watching a YouTube video today of a man who's much larger than I am, who carried himself in a way that like, I'm like, so body dysmorphia is real. And I've been over 300 pounds. I'm currently around 225, 230, and I still got a little bit of a gut. But like, I pick myself apart all the time, and I'm worried about my t-shirts and I'm worried about my clothes fitting a certain way. And like, I obsess over that. But once I've gotten dressed and I leave the house, that's not something I think about anymore. And I just go about my life, and I don't think about my body unless something happens, like somebody takes a picture of me, or I see a photo of me or a video, and then I'm like, fuck, because you have your own cognitive bias of what you believe you look like. It's like the Matrix. When you go into the Matrix, you look like you believe you're supposed to look. And when you come out, you're bald and fucking modules all over you. Right. So you have this internal perspective of who you are. Anyways, while I was watching this video, and this dude is doing what he does, cause he was actually at work doing something. He carried himself really, really fucking well. And at first, the first time I saw one of his videos, I was like, damn, dude's pretty big. Like, not like big, but like big. And like, I could hear him breathing on the microphone, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking horrible. Like, I'm having a hard time even watching this. And then the next video I watched, and the next video watched. And now I don't think he even remotely gives a fuck about his size. Like, he just has an air of confidence about what he's talking about, what he's doing. And I was able to get past all of my judgments in the very beginning of the video and like really pay attention. And by the end of the video, I'm so fucking enamored by what this dude's saying that all of the external judgments that I had at the beginning of the video were completely gone. This is a lot. Then I realized that there are people out there who don't give a fuck about body shape or body dysmorphia or the public appearance of themselves, because what they're doing is their craft, right? Like, if I'm out taking pictures, The last thing I'm worried about is my body. If I'm tattooing, my gut doesn't have a factor unless I can't bend down and breathe because I got a big old gut. You know what I mean? Like, so watching that shift made me realize that the insecurities that a lot of us have in ourselves can become less of a hindrance on our life if we allow ourselves to focus on the things that we're passionate about. I told you this a lot. So if you have somebody who is able to be a bigger person, get into doing the things that they do and they're fucking confident in it, and you put them in an environment with women, let's say it's a guy, and he's overly confident in the things that he's doing, not arrogant, because there's a fucking difference. But that confidence commands an air of respect from everyone in the room. Your perspective of that person is going to change. The reason that all of this is even brought up is because we know that when people are in shape, they tend to make more money than people who are out of shape. They land better jobs. They become influencers. They do all the things that they want to do because of their physical appearance to begin with. Your physical appearance to begin with doesn't really fucking matter if you are in a field where you know what you're doing and you can show that. So now that I've explained all that, because that's where my head went first.
Okay.
It's a lot longer to explain than to think it.
It is. Yeah, definitely it is.
How important do you think that is as a father?
Confidence.
To have that air of confidence as a man?
The most important thing in my mind.
Why?
Because how are you going to raise a son and not be confident in being a man? How are you going to raise a man when you're not confident in being one? Being one.
Yeah. So I watched that video.
Yeah.
And then you walked in. And I was like, did you make your TikTok? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, is that what you were doing all this to out there? Because I thought you were yelling at someone on the phone. I was going to come out there.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I was just into my conversation. I was like, okay. And then I watched the video. And because that thought process of what I was working through was happening,
fresh, yeah.
It went to being a father. How many men are ready to be a father when their children are born in terms of like having a boy? Because I know for a fact there are a lot of men in my life who weren't ready to be dads, found out they were having a boy, and the excitement wasn't, oh my God, I'm gonna have a boy and teach him sports and do all this. It's, oh fuck, I'm gonna have a little man looking up to me now, right?
Yeah.
So then my brain went to that. Then my brain went to the importance of having confidence as a father, because if you are not able to believe in yourself and live a life that is structured around the ability to know that you are that motherfucker, how are you ever going to teach your son to believe in himself and to fucking know that you are capable? Because if you are living in self-doubt all the time and you don't have that confidence, you are going to second guess everything in your existence. And then I started thinking about self-love and self-worth and all of that shit. I have to go back to my notes because now I've just been running and running and running. I kind of just fucked myself. Old me was not looking out for future me.
Oh no.
My note was super short, thinking I got this. It's gone.
Unfortunate.
So yeah, you guys just get to chew on that, because I would have to sit here and really think about where I was going to try to make that work, and it's just not there for me. Do you have anything on that one?
No, I think that was all very good points. Very good conversation to have.
I also on that whole topic, part of that thought process for me, the transition was not just the confidence in the man, but it was in what he was wearing. I can't wear flannel shirts.
Right.
My shoulders are too wide. My lats are too big. And if I try to move in a flannel shirt, the shirt has to be way oversized. And we live in Florida. It's 1,000 degrees out here every fucking day, and I'm not wearing a flannel shirt. But I was like, that dude outweighs me by at least 125 pounds. He pulls that flannel off really fucking well. I was like, I wonder if I should start wearing flannels. That's where that went. That confidence in who he was made me second guess me, right? Because I would never wear a flannel. I can't. It's not comfortable, whatever. Then I started thinking, well, damn, if he can pull a flannel off, I can pull a flannel off. This shit just glitched. Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh, she's dreaming.
I don't know where I was going with that either. That glitch just side railed my whole shit.
Talking about him being in a flannel made you second guess yourself?
It's gone.
Okay.
It's gone. I always want to wear long sleeve shirts.
Yeah.
I look good in a long sleeve shirt. I can't move in them. And we've gone and had me sized, and I can't buy a long sleeve shirt. I have to have it tapered or tailored or whatever it's called to fit me. And everybody that I've ever talked to that wears a coat, like an actual like gentleman's coat, were like, don't expect to lift your arms up in front of you and do that. And I'm like, well, what happens if I have to handle somebody? And they're like, you take your coat off.
Before I kick your ass.
Yes. Well, 1 second, sir. I'm not, come on.
Right.
So there was a whole lot of all of that as well. I don't remember where all of that was going, but it all started because I realized that dude was rocking a shirt that I would never wear because of the way that it looked on him. And oh boy, was just owning it. And then as I started paying attention, I realized how confident dude was in his skin. And then it made me realize how much of a judgmental fuck I am. And that all started with his breathing because I can't stand hearing people breathe. I don't want to hear her breathe. Yeah. Like if you're on the couch chewing next to me and I hear you chewing while I'm chewing, I have to like start singing songs in my head. There's noises that I just can't handle. So no, stop.
You saying that out loud every time we're eating, I'm like, oh my God, I hope he can't hear me chewing. You just confirmed an anxiety for me.
It doesn't happen all the time, but there are times that you're close enough that I can hear you chew. You're chewing with your mouth closed. You're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, but I can still hear it. And
I hate that I can hear me chew. Like
same. Fucking same. Right? And like I'll get winded sometimes and like start to try to talk and realize I'm out of breath and then I don't want to have a conversation anymore.
I don't got shit to say now.
I'm just going to be fat and out of breath for a minute until I catch my breath. We're not talking.
Yep. Don't even look at me.
That's a problem for me, right?
Yeah.
So like, and that's all a me thing. But I also know that that's a defect in my brain because most people don't have those issues. Some do. We're spicy guys. It's a thing.
Why the spicy?
I don't know.
You know what's been living rent free in my mind?
What's that?
Since last night? Me telling that lady in my comments that her being in my comments is like being a fly in another room of a second house.
That was a fucking huge slam.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about that before we move on to the next thing?
Yeah, we can. So yesterday I woke up in the morning. I was up at like 5:30. And I was going across my platforms, checking comments and whatnot. And there was this one woman on my Instagram just going and going about how, this might have been 2 days ago. It might have started 2 days ago. Just going on about how I'm in an abusive relationship and insinuating that I'm not smart enough to recognize that I'm being abused and shame on me for pushing an unhealthy relationship and I'm going to fuck up all of these women's minds. This isn't verbatim. This is paraphrasing. And I asked her a question like, what are you talking about? Oh no, I told her like your sympathy is not wanted here. You can take it elsewhere for women who actually need that in abusive relationships. And then she sent another paragraph of something, and I just responded, laughed my ass off. And I walked away from it for like 24 hours. And what caught my eye was somebody else was responding to her as I was looking at my Instagram comments notifications. And I was like, oh, I was not the only one. So I went and I checked and this other woman was like, hun, you're projecting right now. Like, this woman's not in an abusive relationship. You need to calm down a little bit. And the woman who was attacking me responded with, cork your pie hole. How dare you gaslight me? I've been abused. I know what abuse looks like. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then the woman responded again and she was like, she got nasty in the second comment. And she was like, you're projecting. Leave people's relationships alone. She said shit somewhere in the comment. Her first comment was very polite. And the second one, she was like, I'm not doing this. And then the woman attacking me left a couple of more comments and then she tagged me and said, you know, if you're going to, you probably shouldn't have a platform if you're going to mass report people for calling you on your bullshit or something like that. And she spewed off a bunch of other things. And then I responded and I was like, what are you talking about? I haven't reported you. I've been at the zoo all day with my children. She said that me responding to her comments proves her right. That I feel like I have to defend my relationship because I am actually being abused. And I was like, no, you're incorrect. I'm responding because I'm getting a kick out of this. This is funny to me. You think you're so right about my life. Hilarious. And then I hit her with, you being in my comments is like a fly in another room of a second house for me. Totally irrelevant. And then I commented on, because she said that the woman was gaslighting her by saying you're projecting your feelings. And I was like, you are 100% projecting your feelings right now. Because you've been abused, you are viewing whatever you want to view within my relationship to validate what you're seeing. To tell me that I am, I can't remember what word I used, but I pretty much insinuated that she's calling me an imbecile. And that I've gone through therapy. I have processed my abuse, and you're gaslighting me by telling me that I'm still in an abusive relationship because of whatever you see. And then someone jumped in there this morning and said, you sound like an idiot to her. Yeah.
I love it when people do shit like that.
Yeah. The parasocial relationship, the internet and the people using the internet absolutely terrify me.
Yeah. That's why I don't want the kids on it until they can afford their own devices.
Like, this woman absolutely believes that I am oblivious to abuse and I don't know what it means to be mistreated. That one day I'm going to wake up and recognize that my life isn't what I want it to be and I deserve better. Those were some other things that she said. It's just, she's affirming her own delusion in the comments.
I was about to say, I'm trying to do better. I don't know what more I can do, but like I'm reading and trying to learn more stuff to do.
Yeah.
I'm growing.
Yeah.
So as we get older, I'd like to think that like I will do better and do more. I know that's not what she meant.
Right.
But there is a truth in what she said, in that you could get more and better. I'm working on it. This isn't my final form yet. Like, it's taken a lot to fucking get me here. Give me a little while.
I mean, well, you're also unlearning 40 years of coping mechanisms and survival tactics and whatnot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Do you get snippy sometimes? Yeah. Do you ignore cues when I'm trying to have an emotional conversation? Yeah. But then I just reapproach the conversation. We talk about it and, sorry, I'm so distracted today. I'm really in my head. I'm in pain. Something is going on where I'm not on my game today. And it's never something I hold against you. That's the only thing that I can think of that people would even equate to being abusive.
Yeah.
You ignored her feelings. Fucking short-circuiting over here.
I see that.
Homie. I said that you ignore my feelings as abusive, and I had a flashback to my childhood of my mom being pushed into an empty pool.
Damn.
Yeah. Just a little perspective for abuse. For people who want to claim whatever on a relationship they have no bearing in.
We will get to some Q&A, guys. I promise.
We are. We see all of it.
One more topic I want to cover real quick. Mm-hmm. I actually don't want to touch on this next one. I want you to touch on this next one.
Okay.
I was listening to something this morning while I was trying to get my Lightroom set up to do what I wanted to do with the new shit that I downloaded. But the conversation was about duty with a wife. And then this also ties into the question in Discord. And the statement that was being made in there was something about a wife's duty. And then the conversation led into what people believe should be 50-50. If I say that to you, duty and 50-50, is there anything in that you would like to run with? And if not, we can just move on.
Duty and 50-50.
What does duty mean to you? As a woman, like to be a wife and to have a duty as a wife, what does that mean?
Specifically to be a wife. Well, I don't think that duties as a wife are cookie cutter. I think my duties as your wife differentiate the duties of a wife of a man who works on an oil rig, right? Okay. So
that's fair.
My duties to you as your wife, maintain our household, to be your peace, to make sure that I check my emotions and my borderline when confronted with hard conversations, to maintain a baseline of my personality. I can't remember what borderline is, but it's like a class B personality disorder, I think. I can't recall. Don't quote me, guys. I'm not a psychologist. I've just been doing more in-depth research on my own disorder. So I'm trying to recall information that I've heard listening into an audiobook. So making sure that I maintain myself in a way that is productive to our marriage, to on my hard days get up and clean the house and tend to the children and tend to you, tend to Ivy, myself. If shit goes sideways, Bonnie and Clyde.
So we obviously have our roles, right?
Right.
We've not been shy about that.
Yeah.
Your duties are the roles that you have established.
Cooking, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
In order for us to have 50-50, I would have to be responsible for half of that shit. And you would have to be responsible for half of the shit that I got to deal with.
Right, yeah.
So,
do you want to know why I'm laughing?
yes.
Okay, so do you know how cats, when they see another cat and they go, you said I would have to do 50-50 of your duties, and that's exactly what I just did in my soul.
Turn sideways and
like,
hunched
you don't,
your back.
Why the fuck are you over here? This is my domain. I know this is just a conversation, but get out.
I love that you even postured your body a little bit and turned your head.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to make sure what I feel comes into reality a little bit.
That conversation that I heard, one person was arguing that you have a duty to your husband and your husband has a duty to you, and that your roles are intentionally separate. Mm-hmm. And the person that was arguing back was arguing that marriages should be 50-50. And then the conversation led into the duty of the man and the woman. Mm-hmm. And that woman was like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
If your sewage breaks in the middle of the night and it's leaking into your basement, are you going to get up and go deal with that? Or is that your husband's job?
Right.
And the conversation led into danger, disgusting, and it was another D word. Dangerous, disgusting, and difficult. Mm-hmm. And those are his jobs.
Dangerous, disgusting, and difficult. You know what? Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all. You know what? Speaking of dangerous and disgusting, there is an open bag of marshmallows on top of one of the trash cans this morning, and I didn't have gloves on me.
Okay.
So when we get home, that'll need to be tended to.
That's fine. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I guess I'm still working through all of that myself because I don't believe 50-50. I never have.
No.
I believe you have your duties to do the best of your ability, and so do they.
Right.
And sometimes it looks like we need to leave each other alone because we're both operating at 10%. And we definitely don't want to fight with each other today.
Yeah.
So like, you need anything, babe? No?
Yeah.
I don't need anything either. Cool. I'll
Let's
see you
just
when you
sit
get
here.
home. I
Yeah.
fucking love you. Goodbye. Right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
There are definitely days.
There's an honesty about that.
Right. But there's also a respect in that. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and push your buttons and try to fish out what's wrong with you. Right. You're at 10%. When you're ready to talk about it, you talk about it. Is it me? No. Dope. Give me a forehead kiss, babe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
you can take your stank ass over there and
Right.
get your fucking attitude right and then come back and
You're
love
being
on
a little
me.
negative for me right now, my love.
Yep. All right. I guess that's it. I'm still working through all that.
Okay.
I may have to actually sit down and write something. I think that I am going to type something up about confidence and fatherhood.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
I'm real big on that right now. Like I don't so all right. I have probably apologized to you at least 30 times in the last 72 hours.
Just today, it's been about 5.
I don't do well when I'm not functioning optimally. And my nerve damage in my back is bad. I can't stand up. It takes me a minute to like move across the house. You had to get up and get the fucking DoorDash this morning, which is my job.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of out of my element right now. I don't want the kids to see that shit.
Yeah.
So like when they're in the house, even though I'm in pain, like I'm trying to suck it the fuck up because they don't need to see dad being a fucking, in pain little bitch right now. They're going to school. They don't need to be worrying about me. They need to come give me love. I'm not
Right.
going to stand up. You guys can hug me in the chair and then go.
Which is not abnormal.
Right.
Right.
But I'm also trying to keep that because though I do want them to understand that sometimes life happens, how you deal with the life when it happens matters.
It does.
So I don't want them to think that like I'm some fucking craven little bitch. You know what I mean? And like the pain aspect of things, like I'm definitely not soft by any means. But I don't want them to equate that. And like, I don't want our son to look at me and think that it's okay to grow up and just be a sniveling little pussy. And I know that that's a horrible thing to say to people who out there who have issues with everything I just said, and that's fine. I don't feel that's a horrible thing to say.
Being that, what do you get out of life?
To be a victim, to complain.
When I hear, there are times where I tell myself, stop bitching. Quit fucking crying. You're the only person who can do anything in this situation. Just fucking do it. You can cry about it later. And I do. I time my cries sometimes. I am running around in a spin. There's so much shit to do. I'm sitting outside right now smoking a joint for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to cry while I'm doing it. Let's get it out right now.
Right.
But when I think of, to quote you, a sniveling pussy, I'm thinking of me sitting in a corner with some bad shit happening outside of the house. And either I'm going to sit in this corner and I'm going to die, or I'm going to go out there and face whatever I need to face and get the resources that I need to continue surviving in my life.
Right.
And that could be food, that could be water, it could be emotional support, it could be broaching a conversation with you that has bit me in the past from other horrible people. And now I'm focused on people going, oh, he abuses her again.
Do you think that confidence is a key to successful men?
Yes.
Why? I'm really on this shit right now.
I have confidence in me failing. I'm not a man, so I can't speak on how, like, from a man's perspective, but me personally, even in my failures, yeah, I fucking did that shit, and I'm going to do it better next time. And when I think of you and I think of our son, there's a different upholding to that failure, taking pride or confidence in that failure, right? Because everything in our life falls on your shoulders. The finances, paying the bills, reaching out to lawyers, getting everything done. Barely know our lawyer's name.
Do you know the difference between confidence and arrogance? Is confidence it's doing something, knowing that you have the ability to do it again. You're confident.
Right.
Arrogance is believing you have the ability to do something without actually having ever done it.
Okay.
Right? So, like, if I wanted to be like, I could train that dog. I'm not Dakota. There's no fucking way I could do that with Ivy.
Right.
But Dunning-Kruger effect right now, because I've watched 90 hours fucking YouTube, I could absolutely do that shit. I know better.
That's funny.
But that's arrogance, not confidence.
Right.
Because I haven't done that yet. I don't know if I could do that. And if I sat down and actually tried and failed, what's that going to do? It's going to break my fucking ego.
Yeah.
Right? So it is important to know that there is a difference between the two. But I think that a confidence, that air of confidence in knowing that you're not a quitter.
Right.
Because I have confidence in that. I know that if I set my mind to task, I'm going to fucking achieve that. At least while I'm fixated on it.
Yeah.
I might put it down and walk away from it for 8 months, like my e-bike that's in pieces in the garage. And that's not because I can't do it. It's just because we're not riding bikes right now. It's not a priority.
I thought about that the other day.
Yeah.
I drove past that service road that we take the bikes on.
That you broke your elbow on?
No, not that I broke my elbow on. It might just be one akin to the dirt road that we ride on in Mayaka. But I saw that and I was like, oh, it's too hot outside right now. I enjoy it during the wintertime when we're out there and that cold wind's hitting my face and I'm not dying of sweat.
It's not so bad when you're doing 30 on the bike, but you're not doing that in the dirt. So
30 in the dirt? I've done 30 in the dirt.
Okay, you're not doing that often.
No.
30 in the dirt. You tend to slow way down in the dirt, babe.
Not when we're on a straight line. If there's ruts and shit, I'm scared.
All I can think of is that you laying on the ground. Well, at least the music's good, looking up at the clouds. I like that fucking cloud. That video. That was the best time to have your GoPro running.
I still remember the song that was playing. It was Stay. Yeah.
That's funny.
Just take a minute.
That's what was actually playing while you were laying on your back.
Yeah. The clock is ticking, so stay. Dun, dun, dun.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was so defeated laying on that ground. I was like, fuck that bike. Fuck that rut. And the demon in me was like, fuck my husband. I was like, no, my husband's a good man. He's just riding his bike, having fun. I didn't fall because of him.
How dare him make me do Mad Max shit?
So somebody in the chat asked you, when did you know that you wanted to marry me?
Where was that at?
They asked it a couple of times. I think it was Paloma.
We don't talk about the e-bike. I have to find the... Let me know if you see it, because I want to read what they actually said.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop.
How long did it take me to know that I wanted to marry Peaches? Jenny said I also schedule my cry sessions. That's funny.
Yes.
There were a couple of things. Is there an email we can send things to be more anonymous?
Okay.
Yes.
So-
tobetterco@gmail.com.
I have to pee. While you ponder that question, because I want to hear the answer, I'm going to go use the restroom.
Okay, I'm going to interact with the chat while you're doing
Okay.
that. You have to move your baby.
I know, I feel so bad. There's so many things. Okay, Ivy, off. I know, I'm so sorry.
She's like, but Mom, I'm so comfortable.
Here we go, ready? I know, you're going to have a big stretch. There it is. There's the stretch. I love that she does that. Have you guys... Okay, so I'm holding my pee right now because I feel like this is important for you guys to hear. So Ivy does this thing where she only puts her back legs, her hind legs on the ground, and then walks her body forward to stretch it. Have you guys seen that video of the Chihuahua making fun of her sister dog that's a different breed?
Yes.
The Corgi? Mimicking her walking. That's what I see every time she does that, and it's hysterical to me.
That's
Okay,
funny.
I'll be back.
All right. I'm going to interact with you guys while she does that.
You have 3 sunflowers now. It looks like the third one has a little bit of red in it.
What I feel the difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is the attitude of achieving the goal you set out to do. I think that comes from actually knowing that you can do it, though, because otherwise arrogance sets in and you believe you can do it, right? Because having the belief you can do it and knowing you can do it are two very different things. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. After seeing Peach's TikTok the other day, I've removed all social media except YouTube. Well, that's awesome. I guess she doesn't post to her YouTube. She does social media in terms of Instagram and TikTok the most. My husband and I both love listening to you guys. Thank you for that. Any advice for a husband who's always rough around the edges when I'd like to be treated more like a lady and not talked to like a work buddy? Any advice? I'd like to be treated more like, oh, you're a woman. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. What? So you want your husband to talk more to you like a lady and less like a work buddy. Tell him he needs to understand the way to talk to a woman, and that calling your wife a cocksucker is not the fucking move. Blue collar men need to separate that work life to home life, and you should absolutely be treating your woman like a woman. Oh, we got a super chat. Is this the first one that's come through, Carrie? Mm-hmm. Okay. Jeremy R says, X says bipolar makes it impossible to regulate her emotions and behavior, says my boundaries are judgments on things she can't control. Thoughts? I'm going to go as far as to say that I bet your ex doesn't act like that to everyone in her life. And if she's able to control it with a single fucking person, a boss, a mom, a dad, a child, anyone, she's capable of fucking maintaining that shit to a degree. And your boundaries could be judgments. I don't know what your boundaries are, but your boundaries are your boundaries. And she's your ex. So if she doesn't like your boundaries, it doesn't fucking matter. She's your ex. You guys should always set your boundaries in the beginning of a relationship. If you were somebody that's like, and the one that I get to hate on the most was I wasn't going to have a girlfriend that was going to the bar or the club. Peaches and I had that conversation, and she made a choice not to go to the bar or club. I set an expectation of what I'm willing to accept in my life. And if she wants to be in my life, she's got to meet those needs. Just like she set expectations of what she wants from a man. And I had to meet those in order to be the fucking man that she's willing to be with. Those boundaries and expectations are necessary. If you can't find somebody that's willing to do the things to make each other happy, don't be with them. If you think that that's control because they will somehow not fucking, your boundaries are just trying to control me. No, you're right. You're still in your hoe phase. Go do your hoe phase thing. I'm going to do this over here. Or if they're drunk, you're still drunk. Go do your drunk thing. You have the right to do whatever the fuck you want to do in your life. And I have the right to say, I don't want that type of behavior in my life. That's not me controlling you, Bitch, that's me saying that this is my fucking circle of life. And if you would like to coexist in my circle of life, there are certain behaviors that I'm not going to tolerate. If I say, you don't get to lie to me, is that controlling, judgmental behavior? Or am I setting a boundary saying that in order for us to have a proper relationship, we got to be fucking honest with each other?
No, you should just allow me to manipulate you.
Yeah, right? Oh, how dare I have boundaries? Nobody ever allow somebody to tell you that your boundaries are control. If the person that is with you or trying to be with you doesn't like those boundaries, tell them to beat feet. Don't try to manipulate them and make them conform. Hey, you're great. You're a great person. You're the best. Hit him with the Donald Trump. You're the best. This is the best relationship you could have ever had. It's huge.
Huge.
Just not with me.
You're fired.
All right. So back to the thing.
Before you do that, I have to get this out of my system because you said circle of life. It's the circle of life. And yes.
She just
Yes.
held that little ass dog up.
She did. Simba.
That dog looks like a sausage roll with a head.
She does. Not my face. Not my face.
There are a couple things. This is not like this is not going to be a typical answer. What you guys are looking for from me, you're not going to get right now. There have been a few things that happened early on in our relationship that made me realize that this is not just me picking somebody to be with. We have had a lot of scenarios in our life over the last however many years that has been very divine. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that God put you in my life now because I'm ready for you. Because if I would have met you when I was a horrible person and not healed and not going through my fucking new phase of life, I wouldn't have been able to maintain you.
Oh God, no.
And you weren't ready for me either.
Yeah, no, I was not.
So there's just been a lot of things that I believe is divine intervention. I truly believe that God put you in my life when he knew I was not going to fuck this up.
Yeah. I agree with that for me too.
And so having those realizations and then a lot of other small things, like I didn't want kids, right? Like I was retired, guys. I was done. I had 3 businesses that was making a lot of money. I didn't have to work anymore. I could fucking travel the world, go live in a van, do whatever I wanted to do. And I vehemently did not want to have a woman with kids.
Yeah.
God was like, here's a woman with kids. I'm like, God, she's so perfect. Why has she got to have kids? And then it wasn't that big of a deal that she had kids. And I was like, well, I mean, fuck it. I can deal with the kids, right? And like, it no longer looked like a hurdle that I had to overcome. It just looked like a factor of life now. Like, if I want this outcome, this is just one more thing that I got to do to get to that outcome. So like, when you start realizing the things that you were vehemently against no longer look like an obstacle and it just looked like another factor that you have to take into consideration to get the things that you want, I mean, that was also kind of an eye opener. So like my reasons aren't going to be like, this is the moment. I don't have a single moment. I have a lot of things that God showed me that this is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So that's my answer to that. Somebody asked, do you all ever respond to emails with an email instead of a podcast? Nope. Because we have lives. And if we had to sit down and answer the thousands of emails that we get every week and trying to spend an hour to 2 hours working through people's problems and back and forth emails, it just doesn't work. This is a scratch. You scratch our back, we scratch yours. You send an email, it gives us content. We answer the email. You get your answers. Everybody wins.
The goal is to help the populace.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's do some Q&A stuff.
Wait. Oh no, don't run away from me. Come back. Oh, you sneaky bitch. Thought's gone. What were we talking about? Oh, I remember. Is this the side of my face that has a tattoo on it?
Yes.
How would you feel about a single wisteria flower?
I really do not want you to tattoo your face.
Yeah, but I really want to get that covered up.
Then laser removal.
I don't want to do laser removal. I don't want to get like boils on my face and scars, and I scar so easily.
I get that. I got blistered really bad with my laser removal too.
I don't want to get that on my face.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring it all the way out here, but I want to. Jeff, last time I talked to him about it, said that color would do really good on that cover because it's so faint.
Yeah.
It's not harsh lines or anything in there. So he said if we did something with color, it would be a smaller versus doing a massive.
We'll talk about it after the podcast. Okay. I don't like the idea of you tattooing your face anymore.
Okay.
I really, really like your face.
Yeah.
And if they put a tattoo on there and it doesn't look right at all, I have to look at that. It ain't right at all for the rest of my fucking life. And like, I don't have to look at my shitty tattoos. Right. You do. But I had these shitty tattoos when you met me.
Yeah.
So like, it was already there.
Okay.
You knew what you were getting.
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to get if you get a tattoo and come home with a fucking tattoo on your face and it's not perfect.
No, I want you to be there, like, for the application of the stencil. Like, if we can get up to the point where you can put the stencil on my face and you still don't like the sizing of it just to cover that up, then I'll just live with it.
Okay. What are the best tips to do better communication in relationships?
What are the best tips? You know what? I should probably put my eyes on. Acting with me, sometimes like interacting with your grandma, guys. What was the question?
You needed to put your glasses on to hear my question?
Yeah.
What are the best tips for communication in a relationship?
Best tips for communication in a relationship?
Pick one. I'll pick one. That'll give them two. That's 2 tips.
Blame the situation, not your person.
Probe.
Okay. I think that's two.
It is.
2 pretty good pieces of advice.
Probe. Always probe.
If we actually timed it up right, we could. Other way, babe. For other hand, yeah. Clap. Hell yeah.
That's funny.
Thank you for entertaining my goofiness.
It's fun.
Are those the little moments that make life fun for you?
Yeah, because you don't give a shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How can I get y'all as a life coach? Can y'all send me info, please? We are going to be doing mentoring shit. I refuse to call myself a coach. When we actually start doing live, like one-on-one calls.
I'm going to do mentor.
Mentor, yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming, guys. We have to wait on Peach's mental health to be where it needs to be before we open that up.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm working on my mental health right now, guys. And I can't help you get it together if I don't have my shit together. So I don't want to just take your money. I want to actually be present and give undivided attention to problems in your life and problem solve. So you said mentor. And in Discord, for the women's group, we have a woman tour. And I was like, that's a lot to say. And I was like, she tour? And I was like, no, that sounds like a dinosaur. Or like He-Man. She tour. But then my mind went to ma'am-ter. And that's what that gasp was. Ma'am tour.
As a man, I know I need a mentor because I feel like at times I definitely need guidance. Mm-hmm. For you guys who feel that way, if you are looking for mentorship, the most cost-effective way to have that with us is to join our Discord and join the private men and women's group. Mm-hmm. I check it. I check my men's group every day. I don't always respond, but I at least once a day get in there and look to see what's going on. And if I'm tagged, you got my attention. We're going to have a conversation.
Yep.
In the event that there needs to be a call, we'll do a group call together and a round table. We'll get all the other men together. All of them are fathers, business owners, entrepreneurs, and we have discussions. I know that you're doing a lot of those too. So
yeah, in the women's group, I check it daily. I check it multiple times a day. Yesterday, I think was the first time since starting the women's group that I didn't say anything in it at all. Yesterday was a surprise no school day. So Carrie and I took the kids to the zoo. Mm-hmm. And the change in my routine really messed me up. And suddenly it was today and I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 24 hours. But we do have weekly calls. I've decided that Sundays at 3 p.m. are going to be our weekly calls. That way it's set in stone, and if I can't make it to the Sunday call, I'll let them know.
Well, that works because if we're doing that, we can play D&D right after the call.
Yeah.
And it'll get us an earlier day start for D&D.
We don't play D&D on Sundays.
You're right. That's Saturdays.
Correct.
Bitch.
I'm free.
Can you do it on Saturdays so that Sunday is still technically a full day off to do whatever we want to do?
I can. Yeah, I'll ask the women.
Okay. Somebody asked how to get into the groups, and they're asking for the Discord link, guys. It's through Patreon. Go to patreon.com/to-be-better and look at the tiers. The private men and women's group is the $115 tier. It's $115 a month, but you get access to group calls, private Discords. We have them capped at 30 people, although neither one of them are at 30 people.
No.
So it's a much, much smaller group. Top 3 tips on how to date in 2024 and beyond. Top 3. You want to give 3 and I'll give 3?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, do you have your 3?
I'm just going to spout the first 3 things.
Okay,
that came to
go.
mind.
And I'll wait. I'm not going to think about it.
Confidence, self-worth,
Okay.
and not selling yourself short on your values.
Okay. I like that. I agree with all of that. Boundaries.
Okay, so self-worth.
I'm confused.
You said boundaries.
Boundaries.
Self-worth.
Okay. Scarcity. Make yourself scarce. Don't sleep with everybody you interact with, and don't divulge everything to the person that you're talking to for 2 weeks.
Self-worth.
I'm so confused. What is this falling into self-worth? What?
Both of those do fall into that for me. The first one especially.
Okay.
So
so
I'm trying to see if we're on the same page. Is all I'm doing. So
okay, I was about to say, babe, I'm autistic. I don't understand what's happening right now.
I'm just trying to see how close we are on things, because every time we do something like this, I can normally go, do you think this is? And that's it. So for me, both of those fall under self-worth.
Okay.
Scarcity is a good one though.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna think of the third one.
Retire the hoe phase.
So I'm not actually sitting here thinking of words. Have you ever seen those? Oh my gosh, back when Facebook was really just like posting pictures of things, people would post a jumble of words and be like, the first 3 words describes your year of 2024. That's my mind, and I'm looking for the first word that I see. So I'm just processing right now, guys. Okay. Standards.
Also self-worth. And the reason I say that is because if you have self-worth, you're going to set your boundaries. You are not going to accept less than, because you know your fucking value.
Right.
Right? Not sleeping around is the same thing. If it's the difference between platinum and gold is readily accessible and platinum is not.
I'm going to add on to that. Don't be an emotional whore.
Okay.
Don't blab to everybody your issues. Don't tell everybody what's going on with you. If you need companionship, go get companionship with a group of friends, somebody that you're currently dating, and don't talk about any issues in your life. Live in the moment, have fun, and be goofy, and then use that energy to problem solve the issues in your life. I'm going to put that on there for scarcity.
You know what we just did?
What's that?
Both of us pick things that we can control.
Yeah.
We're not looking for things in other people.
Oh, holy shit, you're right.
Accountability.
Damn.
Because you can't control the people you meet. You can't control the people that you're going to court. But if you have self-worth and values and confidence, if you have confidence, you're going to attract good people, right? Because they're going to be drawn to the confidence of who you are. If you have self-worth, you're not going to allow somebody to step on you or fucking use you. And if you've healed and you've done the work, like, you're golden.
Yeah.
That's my advice. That's what I got.
Word. So I've been keeping up on the new Disney Snow White
Oh my God.
things. And I'm not going to give a stance on it. I'm just going to... There is a clip that whenever somebody talks about that Zegler chick, it's her going, weird, weird. So now every time when I go, wow, that's how I hear it in my mind, and I hate it. I hate it.
It's always Ben Stein for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clear eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or Owen Wilson.
Different wow, but yeah.
Different wow.
Yeah. He's more nasally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
How do you de-escalate a highly emotional situation without shutting down or walking away?
How do we de-escalate a highly emotional situation without shutting down or walking away? Ooh, girl. She jumped. I need a minute.
That's your answer? I need a minute?
If
Or
I
are you
am
telling me
highly-
that you need a minute?
No, if I'm highly emotional in the situation, because the situation's not emotional. You're the one getting emotional. Oh man, now I'm on that. You're the one getting emotional. So the situation happened and I could say something and feel no emotion over it because it's not directly tied to me and just go, damn, that sucks. Sorry you're going through that. So I do view that as me being the highly emotional one. Yeah, I need a minute.
That's applying meaning to the situation.
Yeah.
Situation is going to be what the situation is, and the
Right.
meaning that you assign to the situation is going to determine your response and or reaction to that situation.
Right. The
As soon
goal
as-
is to respond, not
Right.
to react.
The goal is to stop it before it becomes emotionally charged. If you start to get
Right.
upset or you're feeling attacked or you feel the need to be defensive or whatever the case may be, you pause. I don't know I don't know what happened just now to make me feel this, but I'm feeling defensive right now. I need to process what you said and I'll get back to you.
Right. Not what the fuck did you just say to me?
Right.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? That's one of my go-tos. Especially with our daughter getting more of an attitude. That's the first thing that plays in my mind. Then I hit her with, you want to try that again, baby? One more time? That's not how you talk to your mom. Deep breath.
Wow.
What?
It's been a while.
Since I've gone and fucked things up.
That's my answer to that.
Yeah.
I am not going to allow things to get to the point where it's getting escalated to the point where we're starting to get emotionally unregulated. If we're starting to get elevated and things are starting to get emotionally charged, I love you. I am not trying to fight with you. If I have to change my behavior or something that I did affected you, regardless of whether or not I meant to do it, it did affect you.
Right.
I can be like, I didn't mean that shit. I didn't mean for it to affect you that way, or whatever the case may be. The fact of the matter is, it did. Do you have the ability to work on things that are triggering you? Absolutely. Do I have the ability to rephrase situations or be aware of your emotional state to not trigger you? Absolutely. And if we're both doing that, we can pause, have the conversation about what's actually going on, and then not do that shit anymore.
Right.
You're not going to reclaim an argument while you're both fucking screaming at each other and come to resolution. So that's my answer to that. You fucking don't allow it to get to the point where it becomes emotionally unregulated.
I'm going to cheat and add a fourth thing.
Okay.
Timing. There's a time and place for conversations,
I agree with that.
right? We're not going to sit at a family dinner and have an argument about how you're an alcoholic. We're not going to go to a social gathering and be frustrated about how our son's addicted to cocaine. Like, hypothetical situations, everybody.
Right. Yeah, no, there's
Just
absolutely...
in case that's not implied.
Okay, I want to read that one, so I'm going to stop this
Okay.
chat. That makes sense, though, right? Like,
Right.
there is a time and place for everything. And this also speaks to in the moment where we're not okay.
Right.
If something happens in the moment and I do something that triggers you and I can tell you're off and I can't get you away from anybody, I'm going to hit you on a text message.
Right.
We need to step aside and have a conversation. And then be like, babe, can you check your phone? I think it went off. You're going to check your phone and be like, yeah, hang on a second, guys. We're going to have a real quick conversation.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me in the moment what I did so that I know what I did and I can reflect on it. I'm going to apologize and then I'm going to work on my behavior.
Right.
And we're going to go back to whatever we were doing like nothing fucking happened because you're not hitting me with it 6 hours from now when I forgot the conversation, forgot what I was doing, forgot what I was thinking about, forgot whatever. Because there's a whole lot of times where we are multitasking things and sometimes the tone is not
Right.
indicative of us. It's indicative of what's happening. That happens.
It does.
I snapped at you earlier because I'm in a whole lot of fucking pain. It had nothing to do with you. I'm in fucking pain.
Yeah.
I had to apologize for it.
You have some blinders on today.
It happens. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with talking to you poorly.
Right.
But I am aware that I'm not going to be on my 100% when I'm going through things like this. The other day we went to the movies. First time we took Ivy to the movie theater. We bought her own chair.
Yeah.
And then we were told she couldn't sit there because the movie theater fucking serves food. So I wasted $25 on a movie ticket. The entire time we were in the movie theater, I was on fucking edge, anxious over the dog. So I didn't gentleman anything because I was on edge. Got to the car, didn't even open your fucking car door and had to apologize for all of it.
Yeah.
Because I realized it after the fact. And that's going to happen sometimes. I'm not a robot.
Right.
This is not pre-programmed. It's intentional. And there's
Yeah.
a difference. So like, just like you could be going through something with the kids and looking for your AirPod thing and responding to text messages, and I can hit you with something and you're not going to be able to answer me right now because you've got 3 other things going on.
Yeah.
You're a fucking human being, and I understand that. So if you're like, nobody move.
Quit breathing. Just stop.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
Compassion.
I need to pause because there's something you said that I want to respond to, but then I just thought of something else that I want to add on to that. Rewind just a little bit.
Talking about the movie theater?
I'm back. I caught it. Can you tell I'm taking my lion's mane again? This is for all the boyfriends and girlfriends listening, right? If you guys are not living together, you're doing long distance, do not initiate a hard conversation at midnight. Do not initiate a hard conversation at 2:00 in the morning with paragraphs upon paragraphs of whatever's upset you, knowing that they're going to wake up to fucking chaos in that.
Yeah.
Time and place for conversations.
Don't have conversations like that via text message, period.
Right.
Agree.
Nothing upsets me more than waking up to chaos on my phone. It's not how you initiate a conversation. Let me get my bearings about myself, unless it's a dire emergency,
Yeah.
right? If somebody's about to die or somebody has died, there's a nuke on the way. Literally anything else can wait.
How you approach the conversation, the soft startups matter.
Yeah. What the fuck is up with this? Bitch, try again.
Yeah.
That's not how we talk to each other. Yeah.
All right. Angelina on Facebook asked, can I ask a question from a male role model's perspective? My husband is both my kid's stepdad, but their father for 5 years now. Is both my kid's stepdad, but their father for 5 years. Okay. Whatever. And we have a 12-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. And he constantly wants to rough play with my son to make him a man, and me and him always get into it because I watch, and it's constantly like, in my eyes, more of a bullying aspect than just rough play. And I would tell my husband, okay, guys, calm down. And he gets on me not to say it in front of the kids. So you guys aren't on the same page when it comes to parenting. But if I don't, it will go on and on and on. And I will tell him, like, in my eyes, it should be like you rough with him, but allow him to do it too without feelings, almost scared. Punctuation matters, guys. If you're going to send comments, fucking use your periods. I'm so lost now.
Okay, can I respond?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like context of what the rough play looks like. Because there is a difference between bullying and then toughening a son up to become a man.
Okay.
Right? Because there are times where you roughhouse with our son and the mom is me like, oh my God, I don't want him to be upset. Because like he's upset because he's weak. Well, how do you get stronger?
Right.
You try to go after Pops now. Don't just sit there and be upset. Go get him. And he did the other day. He was like, all right.
But then he started laughing and he realized he could.
Right. There is a back and forth that is necessary. If he's just smacking the kid around and says I'm roughhousing with him, that's abuse.
Yeah. So what is bullying then? Because calling them a butthole and like giving them noogies and sitting on them and shit, like you are toughening the kid.
That's I view that as roughhousing.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're doing it to the point to where he's bruised and crying, abuse. Right. Bullying is when the roughhousing goes from a learning lesson to I'm stronger than you and I know it. So if there's not all right, son, I'm coming at you this way now. Get me over here. Now, next time I come at you, try that. And do it when I'm not aware of it. Fake me out. I feel like there's a learning lesson in that.
Well, yeah, that's specific training.
Right.
I think when it comes to a father and son, the bullying aspect changes from roughhouse play when it becomes psychological.
Okay.
Because as we progress in our play with our son, or as I progress, I'm going to get rougher and rougher with him. I want to get to the point where I can smack him upside the head and he's going to look at me like, is that all you got, old man?
Right.
But this is going to be the same way with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to hurt him, but the more you do something, the more callous you become to it.
Right.
So if we're playing the hand slap game, and at first I'm like, and then at like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I'm like, bam!
Right.
It's gonna be a whole different ball game than if
Yeah.
I just did that to him the first time I did it to him.
Right.
There is a toughening that happens with that. You learn that that there's a difference between being physically hurt and having your pride or your ego hurt.
Right.
And that's the difference to me. Being physically hurt is going to happen. Being physically hurt is normal. We're men. Being psychologically hurt, your pride, your ego is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And that's the difference to me.
Yeah, that happened to our son at the zoo yesterday.
You got his pride hurt?
Yeah. He was sulking. Can't remember what it was, but it delved into I don't want to use the bathroom. Well, we're going to use the restroom because we're getting ready to be walking for 2 to 3 hours. So let's knock it out now and get on to seeing exciting things. I don't want you to have an accident. You've told me, son, you get too excited into the play. You don't pay attention to your to the bladder because you want to be in the moment. And I was like, I get that. So let's knock it out now. And there was a fit over it. And as we were walking out, I told Carrie, I was like, go ahead and take Sissy and go ahead and see things. Because I hit him with, we can either have a good time or we can leave. And he's like, I want to leave. And I was like, word. So you and I are going to hang back with Ivy because she can't be up near the enclosures anyway. And you're not going to see anything. And then he got real upset about that because he thought we were all leaving and nobody was going to have fun. And I was like, no. You're going to be the one not having fun here. And he started dragging his feet and whimpering and causing a scene. And I took the back of my hand and I patted his butt. And he went, and getting really upset. And I was like, I barely even touched you. You just weren't expecting me to do that in public. And he went, okay. And I was like, so are we going to change our mood? Because now you're recognizing what you're doing is not getting you what you want. I was like, it's not even clear what you want anymore because now you're upset because I made you go to the bathroom. What is happening here, child? And he was like, I just want what I want. And I was like, okay, do you want to go see the zoo animals? And he was like, yeah. I was like, we're going to choose to have a good day. And then from there on out, his behavior was fantastic.
It's so weird that he does that shit to you and not me. And he doesn't do that when I'm around.
No, he doesn't. And every time I go, I'm going to tell Pops about this, he buttons up real quick. And I was like, son, why do you do this to me?
Because he's manipulating you and he knows it.
And I was like, do you think that I'm going to cave? And he's told me, he's like, yes. And I was like, why? And he was like, because sometimes I cry and you feel bad. And I was like, damn, I just got checked by a child. But I'm like, thank you for telling me that. Because you're right, I do that sometimes. I'm so scared of abusing them. And because I witnessed abuse and I was abused, I have gone to the extreme end of being too gentle. And that is a thing for me. They start crying and I'm like, oh my God, this cry is going to ruin their childhood. Because I told them they can't eat 4-day-old chicken nuggets that somebody lost under the car seat.
Let them eat it.
They're going to get sick.
So what? They'll learn.
You're right.
Pain and embarrassment is the best teachers. I truly believe that. But he doesn't do that kind of shit with me.
No, he doesn't.
So that whole bathroom thing, you want to enjoy your day, go to the bathroom now because we haven't started.
Right.
If we got to stop to do what we're doing so that you can go to the bathroom, we all have to wait.
Right.
So go to the bathroom. Let's go get started and have a great day. But he doesn't question me like that. Like when I'm like, go do this, he just does it. And I don't know if that's a fear thing or a respect Pops thing, or he knows that if he cries, I'm going to be like, suck it up. You look like a baby right now. Like you're crying over a 4-day-old chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Can't wait until he's old enough for me to be like, you pussy. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, man.
I validate the cry.
I don't.
See, I very much believe in group cries. Like if we did like a monthly wail, I would love that. I would have so much fun. I think it would be really good for everybody.
As long as you jump and jive before you do it.
Yeah. No, I think that would be afterwards, right?
Oh man.
Like has anybody seen what's that movie Midsommar? where she's just crying and all the women are just wailing with her on the ground and they're devastated and being dramatic. That's what I'm envisioning. Just a group wail. And I think that would be beneficial for people. So I'm all here for crying. I'll sit there and cry with the kids if they're upset about something because, bro, this sucks. I get it.
Yeah, there's a time and place for that.
No, but then after that, I'm like, all right, now we're done crying, right? Scheduled cry. We're moving on with life because this can't be fixed now. We felt the feeling. We're upset about it. And now we're going to move on to the next thing and fix our day and be productive because there are other things to be done. And in 4 days, when we can ship this back, we'll do that. Why ruin the next 4 days because you want this done now and there's nothing to be done about it?
So how are you going to train them? And I mean the word train. How are you going to train them for a scheduled cry if their boss tells them to do something at their job that they don't want to do?
Well, the scheduled cry in that second was more of a joke.
Okay. I'm curious because that cry shit don't work with me.
No, because there are times where I will hit them with, you got to suck it up right now. Like, we're in the middle of something. We can't just sit here and feel our feelings.
Yeah.
This sucks. I know this is sad. I am sad with you being sad. I hate that you're upset. We got to finish this thing and then we can go cry about it. I've hit them with that too. Our daughter falling off the bike has come to me and she is, I'm like, okay, are you good? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to cry about it later because I want to keep riding my bike.
That's it.
And she got back on there and kept going. And I'm like, I'm here for it, kid.
That day that she did that wheelie, I almost fucking...
Oh my...
My heart almost came out of my butthole. Scared the fucking shit out of me.
She nailed
was at
it.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. And she kept it.
Yeah.
She kept it. And then went down and just took off. And at the stop sign, she was like, can we turn the speed down?
Yeah. She didn't panic though.
No, she didn't. And you know what? I think I want to take some credit for that on being calm in situations. Yeah. Because whenever anything goes wrong and they're hurt, my first reaction is deep breath.
Right. But there's also been the conversation of, am I panicking?
Right.
Then there's no reason for you to panic. If you see me panic, if I run, you should all be fucking running.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not running.
Yeah.
So unless you see me panic, there's no reason for you to panic. And that speaks to the parent that goes, when their kid falls over. Right. I laugh.
Yeah.
Kid hits the ass on the ground. I'm like, ha, ha, ha.
With our son.
Nelson, their ass from The Simpsons.
With our son, what I figured out that has worked with him is if he falls off something, I'm like, bro, you nailed that. Like, you nailed that fall. You're not even crying about it. And he's like, yeah, I did, didn't I? I didn't even hurt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you nailed the safety landing, kid. You know how to keep yourself safe. He discovers a scratch. He's like, look, I only got a scratch. Right, you didn't break your leg.
Right.
Good job, kid.
That's funny. There's so many like replies happening.
No, there's a lot, I know.
The if you run, I run is a hard thing, a herd thing. It's DNA survival stuff.
Yes.
LOL, fight or flight. Yep. But that's something that we should be teaching our children. And that helicopter parenting, oh my God, he fell, he could be hurt. You'd fucking know it if he was hurt.
Yeah.
They respond based off of your response. And if you start babying that, they're going to become a baby about shit.
All right.
Our son watched me slide that fucking e-bike across the yard one day. And like, he was waiting on it. Like, he saw me go down and like, I thought he was going to fucking cry that I fell.
Yeah, he was pretty upset.
Yeah, and he
panicked. He was like, Pops fell. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I got up and fucking dusted my jeans off. I was like, look at the fucking dirt in the peg, and kicked the peg.
Yeah.
And he was fucking hurt, boy. He was hurting. I'm fucking old, shouldn't be doing this shit in the grass. And I got jumped right back on the bike and rode around and made no... See, and that's just it though. Like, I'm not going to let them see that shit. If I was broken and something was really fucked up, it would be a different story. But like, there's a time and place for that. But I want them to be emotionally regulated and being able to understand that there are reasons to cry and there are reasons to just be like, well, it is what it is. That sucks.
My equivalent to that situation was, did you think my elbow was broken before we went to the hospital?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were broken.
Yeah.
I heard you hit the ground.
Really?
You were a projectile. Baby.
I was. I really was. Yeah. I'm not kidding. Like when we go over ruts on that bike, my hands are on the bike and that's it.
Yeah.
I am very bouncy on that thing.
Yeah. It was funny at first. Like you hit me and I laughed about it. And as I was laughing, you flew past me and you hit the ground. And when you hit the ground, I was like, okay, she's probably not okay. And you were like, oh, and I was like, let's get you up and off the road. Like, let's get you to the guardrail. We'll sit you down. And like, you got up and like, I was trying to assess damage and like check the back of your head to see if you were bleeding. You were fine. And you were like, I think I broke my arm. And I was like, well, let's get back. Cause I knew adrenaline's a thing. I'm a boy, right? Like, I know that the adrenaline's going to wear off and it's going to start to hurt. And we're riding back and getting close to the van. And you're like, my arm is really starting to hurt. I'm like, we're almost there, babe. Like, just get to the van.
Yeah.
I knew you broke your shit.
Yeah.
But I needed to be calm and get us to the van so that you weren't panicking because we were like fucking 10 miles from the van on e-bikes.
Riding my bike back sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely hilarious to hear you say, and you went, because my mind was going, oh my fucking God, I couldn't stop my bike. Why was he in the road? Why did he stop moving? I don't understand what's happening. Was there a car? And I was like, oh, my arm hurts. And I was like, oh my God, I hit my head. I'm not here wearing a helmet. I was like, thank God for French braids. That was everything I was thinking in that, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Yep.
What were we talking about before that? Because there was another point I wanted to make.
We were talking about the time and place to cry.
Time and place to cry. What was it? Oh, no, it was a good thought. Oh, it came back. Okay. Just a parental advice drop. I have conversations with the children all the time. Not every day, but once a week we have a different conversation about safety as a human being. What's my phone number? What's my government name? What's our address? I have taught them, mommy doesn't have friends. Unless I tell you somebody's picking you up, that's not mommy. It's not happening. We scream fire. You're not my mom. I don't know you. Like, we scream shit. And then, we have conversations that our private parts are not games. The children know the anatomical names for their private parts. And I have introduced tricky people. Not stranger danger, but tricky people. And when I have these conversations with them, I have the conversation and then I quiz them about it. And the next time I want to have the conversation, I initiate it with the quiz we had last time, and then have a conversation and then have the quiz again. And that's how it becomes ingrained. And tricky people are people who want you to keep secrets from mommy and pops or daddy and stepmom. Tricky people want to make your private parts a game, right? And I was like, anybody can be a tricky person. And I was like, it could be somebody that you love. It could be somebody that you could trust. It could be your friend. And I was like, so we pay attention to these things. And I was like, so what happens if someone tries to make your private part a game? We tell mommy. What do you do if someone wants to take you by yourself in a bedroom? We scream. Like, you get as loud as you can and you make as much noise as you can. I don't think enough parents are having those conversations with their children. So this is your reminder to have those conversations with your kids.
Adrian said, victim mindset, learn from it, but don't let it control you. It is in the rearview mirror of your vehicle in life. I agree. I believe that victim mentality comes from allowing your downfalls to manipulate those around you to get what you want. So I truly believe that if you live in a victim mentality, it's because you have utilized that to manipulate those around you, and you view that as a source of I can get what I want this way.
A source of survival.
Yeah. Yep. Can you tell Peach to calm down in front of other people? Does she get upset when there are other people around? I'm trying to work on my responses. Peaches and I have had very, very, very real conversation of I'm allowed to check her. Mm-hmm. And the first time I did it, I was scared as fuck.
Oh, I could tell you were absolutely terrified. Like,
this is a trap.
Your ears were red. Like you were doing your nervous ticks. Like I could tell you were absolutely terrified to tell me, like, babe, you're being crazy right now.
Yeah. Criticism without love is cruelty. So she knows that in the event that she's out of line and I say something, it's to check her from a place of love and not from a place of, bitch, you wrong. Mm-hmm. And we don't talk to each other like that. Like, we also understand hand signals and looks. So there's been times where we've had to pull each other away because one of us is out of line. It happens. Mm-hmm. However, if that was the situation was not able to be pulled under control, I'm going to have her back in the moment and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. Because I'm not going to divide us in a situation like that. We can be divided in the car afterwards. Like, I'm going to have your back in the moment and I'm going to be wrong as fuck and I'm going to approach that shit from a place of wrongness and I know that. But when we get in the car, we have to have a conversation. Sky's not purple, babe. It's blue. Right?
What the fuck was that?
Right.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Are you okay? Like, what caused that? I need some context. Right. I will absolutely check her in public if I have to, but it doesn't really have to happen very often. We are very different people in that Peaches would live as a bog witch if she could and never, ever interact with humanity.
Yeah.
And I'm not that person. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy my social interactions.
I could do with like a every 6-month gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a week somewhere. Yeah.
How do you talk to your kids when they get emotional, when they can't do something and they get angry? Like when they can't ride a bike without training wheels and they push the bike on the ground. It's
You mean
not,
like throw the bike on the ground, or they're pushing the bike with their feet on the ground?
it sounds like they throw the bike down.
Yeah. I hit the children with, why are you so angry?
Right.
What are you feeling right now? Why did you just do that? Tell me what's happening with you inside right now so I can understand what just happened before I jump to a conclusion and get upset about you destroying the property that I just bought for you.
Yeah. See, and this is why you need two parents.
Right.
Because my perspective in that, it's yours. Your sister's got the exact same thing. If you want to throw your bike on the ground, know that yours is going to look like shit and hers is going to look pristine because she didn't kick her bike over.
Right.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, it's yours. Destroy it if you want to. I'm not buying you another one. Have at it. Consequences, right? This is
Right.
choice theory. The other aspect of that is it's not that you can't. It's that you haven't learned it yet.
Right.
And you can. Eventually.
Just takes practice.
Right.
And that practice is frustration. So you're either going to do this and learn how to do it, or you're going to be the only kid that doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Right. So in that scenario, I hit him with it's cool. I couldn't ride a bike at one time either.
Yep.
Now I can. So it's not that you can't, it's that you haven't learned it yet.
Yeah.
I can't fly an airplane. It's not that I can't, it's that I don't know how.
I haven't allocated the time to learn to.
Right. I used to own a gym for a little while. And we did group training. This was when CrossFit was becoming a big thing. And we had a rule in the gym that if you said I can't, you had to do 10 burpees.
Fuck that.
And every time you said I can't, it was the previous 10 plus 10. So if you said I can't do that, the first night it was 10. Next night, if you can't do something else, now it's 20, then 30. And it just compounded. And it got to the point where somebody had to do 50 fucking burpees. They ain't saying I can't anymore, or they're going to quit. And either way, I'm going to learn something about you. You're going to tell me that you're a fucking quitter.
Right.
Or you're going to tell me that you can't reprogram your brain into believing that you are capable of anything that you fucking set your mind to. I don't know how. I'll take that.
Right.
That's too heavy. I'll take that too.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right.
No, we ain't doing that. No.
Another big thing that I do with the children is let them know that I still get scared about things. I still get frustrated about things.
That's normal
Yeah.
shit.
You're mad about this, bro. I'm mad about this. Let's be mad about this together, and then we're gonna go have some fun.
Yeah. It's regulation.
Yeah.
You give your kids a choice. The throwing the bike on the ground thing. That's your bike. Can I do it? Can I kick your bike over? I haven't kicked a bike over in a long time. Can I
Yeah.
do that? No, oh no, don't kick my bike, Pops. My leg is twice the size of your torso. You sure? Because I mean, if we're destroying shit, I want to destroy shit too. Oh no.
It's just one of those days.
Right.
where you
Now
don't
we're going to
wanna
pick the
wake
bike up and like, we're going to have a realization that your bike now has some scuffs on it because you had a temper tantrum. And when you're done having a temper tantrum, we're going to learn how to ride a bike because I can't is not an acceptable answer. I don't know how. Cool. Well, I'm going to show you how. And you might fall and you might get embarrassed and your pride might get hurt. But I'd rather your pride be hurt in front of me than in front of 20 of your friends when you go, I don't know how to ride a bike when all your friends are riding bicycles.
Yeah. Because your friends are not going to give you the grace that I will.
No, absolutely not. They're going to fucking roast you.
Rip
and they're
you apart.
Yes. Right.
Why? Kids are dicks.
And they're not going to teach you like I'm
No.
going to teach you right now. What are tips or advice for when you get into I'm going to have to move your camera.
Okay.
Get into a relationship with someone who has kids. How do you step in to help parent them? What is overstepping? I think that depends on the time of your relationship. Because if you jump into a relationship with somebody and on day one, they meet you, you introduce them to the kids and you get to know them and you start trying to discipline and parent, that ain't your fucking role yet.
Yeah, they don't know you.
Yeah. I didn't step in with your kids until you asked me to.
Yeah, you also didn't meet them for a year.
Yeah.
And that's just friendship.
Yeah.
That was just pure friendship.
Right.
You didn't meet them for a year.
Yep. David said you need friends to roast you, though it builds thick skin. I agree. Pain and embarrassment are the best way to learn something. I fucking agree with that. Mm-hmm. I also know that having my friends fuck with me over things that I couldn't do made me go home and practice that shit.
Right. Fuck you, bro. I can do this.
Yeah, wait till next time. I'm gonna win.
I'll be better than you, Kyle.
Right. This is why we don't do participation trophies.
Right.
No, you fucking lost, bro. You don't get nothing. You get to know what it feels like to be a fucking loser today. Yeah. You mentioned choice theory. What are some theories you think are important? Choice theory is actually a book written by Dr. William Glasser, and it is the study of reality therapy that is practiced in therapy sessions, but they call it choice theory in the learning process. So I would recommend that you buy Choice Theory by Dr. William Glasser and read it. And then when you finish that book, buy another book called The Courage to be Disliked. And I'm not going to give you the guy's name because it's Japanese and I can't fucking pronounce his name, but it's in English. And then read that book because those two pair together really fucking well and it'll teach you a whole lot. Real friends will roast you to build you up and then stand right by you, just roasting you the whole time. Yep. That is true, friends. You want to wrap up, babe? We're almost 2 hours in. I know you got to get the kids.
Oh, we can, yeah.
Can two people come back together who have separated? Sure they can, but they have to do the work.
Both people have to want to come back together.
Yep. And you have to want to be different. You have to accept the difference because you ain't going back to the way things were. The transgressions happened. You have to build a new foundation and build from there.
Yeah.
Yep. Guys, we are going to be... We started D&D live on Twitch last Saturday night.
We did.
We played for 3.5 hours. I uploaded it to the To Be Better Life account on YouTube. It is still available on Twitch as a video on demand, although it will be coming down. We will be playing D&D every Saturday on Twitch. So if you don't follow the To Be Better podcast on Twitch, go do that. We also play Call of Duty on there. We play with people who are not, that are just watching the stream. And if they're COD players, we have a whole fucking setup for that.
Yeah.
So please go follow over there. If you don't subscribe to the live channel, you should subscribe to the live channel. If you're currently following on Facebook and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you should do that. Do you want to talk about Patreon at all? Would you like to plug Patreon since I just did all that other plugging?
Yeah. If you guys want to check out Patreon, we have multiple tiers. The $15 tier and up has access to Discord. The $10 tier and up has access to exclusive Patreon content and Patreon live recordings of the actual podcast. So you guys get the raw, unedited version of us.
That's at 15 and up.
Oh, 15 and up?
10 just gets early release content.
Okay, 10 just gets early release content. We have tiers where you can bring your partner into the Discord. We have the men's and women's private groups.
We also have public groups for those
We do,
too.
yeah. We do have public men and women's groups in the Discord.
If you guys are looking for community and you can't afford the private groups, you should still join the Discord at the $15 tier or the Patreon at the $15 tier because the public groups are helpful. I pop into that public group and see men just fucking chopping it up in there.
Yeah.
Asking advice, business, doing the thing. I just don't participate in that because if I'm in the public group doing all of that shit, then what's the point of the private group? So unless I'm tagged in there, I don't do that.
The private women's group gets 90% of my attention in the Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you guys sock, shoes people? Or is it sock, shoe, psychos? I put on both socks, then both shoes. And my socks have to match. I can't mismatch my socks.
I guess I'm a psycho.
Am I a psycho?
Yeah, I do my sock and then my shoe and then my sock and then my shoe.
Wow.
Yeah, I what's the point of me putting my foot back down to move on to the other one when I have the other component for this foot right next to me? I view it as more productive to knock out one side, move on to the other, than put the foot down, bring this foot up, put the sock on, put the shoe on, put this foot back down just to bring the foot back up to put the shoe back on.
I don't always put my shoes on as soon as I put my socks on. I also don't put my shoes on sitting down.
Yeah. I can't bend over and put my shoes on.
I just slide my foot in there and stomp it.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't wear shoes like that. I wear heels and shit.
The more you know.
Reading Rainbow.
What a weird fucking conversation to have. Tech9 said it best with Am I a Psycho? Yep. Don't you have to reach for the other items? I mean, no, you put your shoes on, your socks on, and you fuck around the house for a little bit, and then you put your shoes on right before you walk out the door. Do you guys wear shoes in your house all the time, or is it like a...
I have my house slippers.
Right.
So it's usually my socks and then my house slippers, or socks and shoes if I'm leaving after I shower.
It sounds like you're doing extra work, Peaches, respectfully.
I really can't see the outline of that unless someone can draw me a graph of how I am spending more time putting on my sock, shoe, and then sock, shoe versus both of my socks and then both of my shoes.
Why don't you use that time to stretch?
It's the
because it's a stretch having to get your foot up there.
Because I stretch at other times.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I do now. I just saw a comment and then we're going to wrap up. I can't just let this go. What am I supposed to do when my boyfriend won't help me with my communication skills? How does that read to you?
Like he's the reason she can't communicate?
Right. Whose problem is that?
Not his. Right.
That's victim mentality.
So I think an elaboration of that question is needed, because if you've communicated what your triggers are and say you're highly triggered and in the moment you need help with communication, like guiding questions or grounding questions, and he refuses to do that and just continues to argue, I can see how that's an issue.
Does that fall under communication or emotional abuse?
Both, I think.
Okay.
Because the lack of communication is there. Understanding is part of communication.
Right.
So his lack of lack of care. You know, I guess it would be just abuse.
I asked that
because the care would need to be there for the understanding.
Right. I asked that because my ability to articulate my needs comes from my understanding of vocabulary and all of the work that I've done to heal in therapy and mental health shit that I've done for me. You having triggers is a you problem. And if I know that something's going to trigger you and I purposely kick that exposed nerve to trigger you, I'm doing that to get a reaction out of you, right? That I view that as abuse. However, you have the ability to work on your triggers, and eventually that kicked nerve isn't going to matter anymore because it's been tucked away. It's now covered the way it's supposed to be as a nerve, and you're golden because you've healed and worked on your triggers.
Right.
Your ability to communicate falls solely on you. Your ability to understand falls solely on you. His falls on his. Probing questions need to happen. We need to have understanding. But your ability to communicate is a you thing. That has nothing to do with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to wrap up?
Yeah. Use the restroom again and go pick up the children.
You gonna bring him back here because I'd like to talk to little man.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, guys. With that being said, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.